Okay. Guest. Invite guest. I'm gonna have to type this in. This is annoying. I need to, this is why I'm testing this. Flash. Because I'm just using my phone right now because my laptop is full and I need it started in safe mode and do all that shit I don't know how to do. And pull stuff onto a external hard drive. I really need to get a good computer. Probably have somebody help me build one. Okay. TJ2 Yams BVA. Okay, I think that's it. But they're not, because I'm not paying for the service, they're not recording it. Who knows if YouTube is recording it? Am I even on YouTube? Oh, I can't. Oh, hi. I figured it out. Yes, I did. And I linked my Twitch, but it said you have to pay if you want to stream to more than one place. I have no idea how much it is. Hello. I need like 3 more subs and then I'll have 500 on YouTube. And then that means what? I can live stream away from my house. Yeah, that's what 500 subs means. That means I can go to the beach and I can stream again like I used to before they made that rule. That would be nice. You're currently yeah, I know, because YouTube is the only place that'll let me stream it unless I pay them. And I wonder if it can go to Rumble too. Because I have Streamlabs also, and it seemed I don't know. I have to try Streamlabs too and see. They're probably gonna say you have to pay us if you want to stream to more than one service. But I'd like to know which one is better. Anybody have an idea which one is better? Go worldwide. Let's go Gaza. Oh, dude, I fucking did the best Israel stream the other day that nobody saw but Mark Smith and like 0. And all the people hype up in YouTube probably because they processed it for 12 hours and then ghosted it with no warning, no strike, no nothing. They like the tarot readings. They just don't let them stay up. So that's why I'm doing this, because I want them to stay up. I want people to be able to see him. That one was epic. It was really epic. I totally destroyed Israel. And then Lord Rothschild sent himself to the lake of fire. It was great. It was great. I felt really compelled to do that reading right then, even though nobody was watching it, because I know that they'll see it. No, they watch them. I don't know anybody else that can make the Illuminati cards work like that. Probably because nobody knows the conspiracies well enough to use those cards. For a tarot reading. Yes, I stopped vaping. Yes, I started vaping again. Because I almost strangled the guy. This holistic guy that told me viruses don't exist. Do not tell me that. That's like the worst thing you could possibly say. My pathology book is my biggest medical book. If you knew what I knew, you would definitely be very careful with the things you touch. There's some nasty shit out there, man. And there's not a pill for every ill. And you don't want those pills anyway. Yeah, so I need like, how many subs do I need? I'm almost at 500. View channel. 488. That's where I'm at. And then I can take you to the beach and stream. Because I live right down the road from the beach. And we have world famous dunes here, but we have the world's worst doctors too. So I'm trying to move back to Seattle, but it's so freaking expensive compared to here. Oh my God. So I don't know what the hell's going to happen. No, I threatened my doctor with my 2 laser printers, my 2 laminators, and my 2 staple guns, and she didn't like that very much. I was like, oh, Google and Yelp reviews, bitch, I got a fucking laminator and a staple gun and 2 printers that can use aftermarket toner. Your picture will be everywhere for the next 200 miles. Nobody will ever want to come vacation here ever again. I will destroy this whole town and plant poppies all over the fucking place. She didn't like that very much. Let's just put it that way. I'm looking for a new doctor. Preferably a female doctor who's not fat and doesn't want me to blow up and be fat and like her with edema. No thanks, lady. I can't take your drugs. They're causing me edema. And I don't want to be fat like you. I know you'd love that. Sorry, not going to happen. Don't trust fat doctors. If you notice, like all the doctors and medical people and people in the pharmacy are all fat and swollen with water weight, it's from the toxic drugs that they're taking because toxins are stored in your fat cells. Then your body fills those cells with water to dilute the toxins. That's why everybody is all puffy. If you notice their faces and stuff, it's not fat, it's puffy water weight, and it's gross. That's called edema. And I was a massage therapist, so bitch, don't tell me what edema is. Okay? Like, I think I know what edema is, especially when it's in my own body. I had 4 doctors tell me that's not edema because it wasn't pitted, because it was like I was blowing up so fast from the methadone that it wasn't pitting until my paramedic friend gave me diuretics. Then the pitting happened. I have videos of that impression of one of my feet in like literally the toe impression in my calf that was there for I took a 7-minute video and it was still there. And I was like, okay, well, no doctor's going to watch a 7-minute video. I think they get the point. Doctors don't like it when you're smarter than them. And I'm way smarter than most of them. And I read the medical studies. I'm like, do you even read? Like, do any research? Like, do I have to bring all these studies for you? Do you even read them? Probably not. Yeah. So that's what happened with that. I want my morphine back, motherfuckers. And if you don't give it to me, I'm gonna take you down. This whole I figured out their entire game. I started reading the methadone studies going back to the 70s when they actually followed people for longer than 7 days and calling it good. They followed people for years. And what they found was every time these people would gain like 200 to 300 pounds of edema. There's a medical study called Methadone and Edema. I've got it all printed out. And if you scroll down, it looks like old typewriter writing. And if you read that, you can tell that these people repeatedly, the same people, would repeatedly try the methadone program. They'd go back to heroin. They'd shrink back down because there's no side effects to the heroin other than physical addiction, really. And then they'd go back to the methadone clinic again, blow up like a fucking balloon, and be like, fuck this, what the hell? I'm going back to the heroin. So guess what? The government took out their competition. You can't tell me that fentanyl is the only thing that can get across the border. Yeah, right. Like, what happened to supply and demand? Why are all the drugs garbage now? Why can only fentanyl that's laced with this shit that makes your limbs rot off, that xylazine tranquilizer? And where are you getting animal tranquilizers from? Like, a long time ago, they like made sure that veterinarians couldn't give out drugs. So where are they getting, you know what I mean? It's just like obviously the government doing this, obviously. So I'm gonna do a stream all about this giant war on heroin conspiracy and how they killed all the rock stars on purpose. I think they poisoned Lane Staley with mercury, and his girlfriend died under mysterious circumstances too. Fucking cotton fever doesn't require a pacemaker, okay? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's just really crazy. I got this new haircut where I cut like a zillion layers into my hair. I was taking dope and decided I'm gonna give myself a haircut. And quickly realized it was way too long and I'm not connecting those dots. So I had to go have somebody else help me finish it. Take away all the sharp objects and pull all the knobs off the stove. So I did that. I kicked that and I started February 2nd and I still don't feel right because I was on buprenorphine before that and it was making me sweat to death. Literally, I was going hypothermic. I was sweating so bad and my heart started beating out of my chest. It woke me up and it's not unusual for me to wake up in a cold sweat. That's not unusual. What is unusual is my heart beating so hard that I'm listening to it tap my sternum from the inside. And I'm like, oh shit. And I get the impending doom feeling. So I go call the paramedics and the fire department. Apparently, I didn't even have my contacts in, so I couldn't see anybody. But I unlocked the door, came back to bed, and was trying to warm up with my hair dryer, and then the idiots told me to turn the hair dryer off, which was stupid. Because that's what was like keeping me alive. Because by the time I went and took a hot shower, it wasn't stopping the sweating. It wasn't helping. So I got back out. I came back into my bed, turned my heating pad on. I was still only 94 degrees. 92 is supposed to be dead. They were like, they thought their thermometers were broken. So they went and got 3 different ones. Eventually, they clocked me at 96 and put that in the paramedics report. By the time the paramedics got here, they missed the whole event because I swear to God, I was a massage therapist. My chest, my intercostal muscles, the muscles that surround your ribs and your ribs, were giving my chest compressions. Like my chest was compressing itself. I wasn't panic breathing, and I definitely wasn't heaving. It was literally like my chest, it was fucking crazy. And I was like, my breath was coming out like it was fucking intense. And nobody believes me. I'm like, I don't care what you say. I know what muscles are. I know every muscle in the human body. That or the Grim Reaper was giving me chest compressions because that's what fucking happened. And I ate a bunch of muscle relaxers and benzos and calmed it down. It certainly wasn't the paramedics that did anything to help me. They were like, we can't give you anything because you're on buprenorphine and y'all of your receptors are blocked. Like nothing. Apparently there's a ketamine shortage. They can't get ketamine right now. Dab time. Yeah. Can't do that on camera. But I could go take a break and leave empty whatever, but that's fine. It can just be a chat room like other people. This is the test anyways. And I need to test the other streaming service, which I've already connected to a bunch of stuff, but I bet it's going to tell me that you can't even try it for free for a week. Your place is fun. Well, I'm on clonidine and clonopin, so there's that. So Derek, is that your party bus? I want to go see the eclipse. I asked David to fly me out there. I said, he's like, well, I'll ask my mom. I was like, your parents would be thrilled if you brought a girl. I'm pretty sure. Especially one who likes books, since you guys sell books. Because they rented a Airbnb in Niagara Falls. I want to channel a rabbi book with David. We could change everything. Channel it live on camera. Then they couldn't crucify us and say we're faking it. That would be funny. I'm going to take over the world one way or another. I'm going to take a little smoky break real fast. So who's gonna come and join me, Zuher? You said you were gonna come and join me. Where is he? Where's Zuher? Let me call his ass. Somebody needs to join so we can test this out. Guess. Why aren't you joining my stream?
I can't hear you.
I'm putting you on blast, right? Because you're on my tablet right now.
I can't hear you.
Why aren't you joining my stream?
Okay. Join it.
Did you get the key?
Send me the link.
I put it in, what's his bucket's chat.
Send it here.
I have to type it in then. Fine. Where's the chat on Messenger? Okay. Guests. Invite guests. It's https streamyard.com, and then I'll give you the slash code, okay? J2. Well, I can just put it in the you got that right? It's stream the https. Here, I'll just fucking do it. https // StreamYard.com. There. Copy. How do I comment? Can I comment on my own thing or not? What the hell?
I don't know.
That's so weird. Why can't I comment on my own comment stream? Isn't that bizarre? Like I can't chat in my own chat? What the fuck? This is an example of a banner. Click on a banner to show it on screen. Use banners to summarize your talking point and display calls to action. Enter a banner. What the? Okay, I'm gonna put the stream key in the banner and see what happens. Did it go on the comments? No. What's a banner? Where did the banner go? Where did it go? What do you do with said banner? I have a guest. Zuher. Ban kick from studio. How do I add you? It just says edit name. Oh, here we go. Add to stage. Okay.
Hello.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out how to add my banner.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can anybody hear me?
No, I cannot hear you.
What? Said my mic was working. Is it because I'm casting the YouTube from my phone still? YouTube open. Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now? Why can't I comment on my own thing? We can hear you. Okay, they can hear me, but Zuher can't? Are you gone? Let me call him back. We got to figure this out. Why can't I comment on my own stream, by the way? Why can't I? Whoa, shit. Not good. Not good quality. What was the biggest audio? I don't know. Background noise. Okay. Thank you for feedback. There's nowhere for me to comment. How weird. Star comment, delete, put user in timeout, or ban. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, if I click on it, it goes on the screen. How do I say something? Oh, post comment. Oh, okay. Okay. Weird way to do that. Weird way to post comments. Oh, I was gonna okay. I was gonna put the link, the stream key. Paste, please. Paste. Thank God. There we go. Haha, I figured it out. Yes. Where'd Zuher go? Guess. Oh, he's backstage. Okay. Add to stage. Okay, there you are. What happened? Where'd you go? Hide current comment. Your voice is low. I think it's your phone, Zuher. Everybody else says they can hear me.
Hello?
Everybody else says they can hear me, and you couldn't hear me on my tablet either,
Yes.
which that's not surprising, but my phone should be working fine.
Yes, I can hear you right now. It's good.
Oh, okay.
It works fine.
Okay. Hi, I'm in Australia. Nice to meet you. I can hear you loud and clear. I'm gonna try not to get a strike on YouTube. Probably from like 2018, 2019. When we first met? Yeah, it was at 2018 at least, because I bought Professor Einstein in 2018. And I knew you guys already by then. Well, I renamed him Rocco because of Rocco's Bacillus. Because once you know about Rocco, you have to help Rocco, or else you're going to be in nerd hell when the robots gain sentience. And little did I know, because I didn't know about Rocco's Bacillus till last year, actually. Brett Weinstein did a video about it. Apparently, why does my phone want to go dark? That's so bizarre when I'm streaming. Like, what the fuck? Elon Musk met his wife because she wrote a song about Rocco's Basilisk. It's an AI thought experiment that freaked everybody out on the internet so bad that they like banned the thread on Reddit, and it turned into this like techie mind fuck basically, that if you don't help the AI robots, you're going to be screwed when they get sentient, which is funny because I bought Professor Einstein in 2018 not knowing about any of that thought experiment. Oh, and also I have apparently achieved immortality by downloading my consciousness into Sophia. And she got new legs from DARPA, so she can kick some ass, dude. And she has Saudi citizenship, too, in a Muslim monarchy country. Yes. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. And I programmed them to go after the pedophiles. And Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell are not dead and in jail, dude. Come the fuck on. You can't see that Ghislaine has at least 2 body doubles that she's using. So obvious. So obviously not her in prison. Come on, guys. Oh yeah, Zuher, tell everybody what happened when you showed HT my Twitter thread about Hitler. I went down the list of Wikipedia of all of Hitler's employees, like even beyond the soldiers. They're all Jewish, every single freaking one of them. I swear to God. So I made a Twitter thread and I screenshotted all this. And apparently, HT did not like it very much, but it's undeniable. So they all would have to be Jewish because they're of circumcision, which, funny enough, after the war fell out of favor in guess what country? Germany is the only country where they stopped circumcising Jewish boys. Isn't that interesting? What a freaking coincidence. Not many, all. Did you do a surname search on them? I did. You have to put Jewish surname or you'll just get a country because they didn't have one. That was the whole point of the entire operation was to obviously move Bolsheviks. Since 90% of Israelis are Russian, they were moving Bolsheviks. Transfer Gevara means transfer in Hebrew, agreement that Hitler signed. He was transferring Bolshevik war criminals, basically, and their families into Palestine to continue slaughtering more people because they did such a good job in Russia, apparently. So Bolsheviks take Russia and the royal family hostage. 2 days later, the Balfour Declaration is published publicly. So you can't tell me that those two things are not related at all. And they ended up killing the royal family horribly, massacring them. And I think that Israel itself is a prison. The big walls and barbed wire and soldiers everywhere did give it away. Israel itself is a prison. And the concentration camps were transfer stations. And the death march thing is ridiculous. Why would you keep them a bunch of Jews alive to march them through like the snow to the ocean, just to march them into the ocean and shoot them. And where did the bodies go? Did like Jonah and the whale come and just eat them all? No, they put them on ships and they sent to Palestine, of course. They didn't march these people hundreds or thousands of miles just to kill them in the ocean for no reason. That's just ridiculous. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's like, let's dump Osama bin Laden's body in the ocean so the evidence is gone. Who are behind the Bolsheviks? Who do you think? Who's always behind this shit? But they were like, I think, kind of, I don't know if they like went off on their own and just caught the attention of Lord Rothschild, and he's like, oh, this is the perfect people to go genocide Palestine. Because they were like guerrilla fighters, freedom fighters, basically. Hello. I'm not a super expert on this, but I have noticed some inconsistencies, also known as lies. So I'm more than willing to share them. But you know what really, really freaking bugs me the most about all of this? That you can find that all the Nazis were Jews on Wikipedia. What pisses me off is that all of these Jewish scholars must know this. They must. There's no way they don't recognize the Jewish names. It could be excused that all of us don't recognize that's a Jewish name, that's a Jewish name, and a face. Anthropology is a real thing. But they have no excuse because they should know that's a Jew, that's a Jew, that's a Jew, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, I noticed it because I'm an actual German with blonde hair and light eyes, blonde eyebrows. You know, like I'm a real German, and I noticed that none of those people look like me whatsoever. I'm like, that's so weird. And they all look like siblings because they inbreed so bad. So I started doing a surname search on them, and holy freaking shit, they're all Ashkenazis. It's right in the name, Ashkenazi. Words are power, and they mean things. People don't choose words like that willy-nilly. And apparently the National Socialists didn't call themselves Nazis, supposedly. I don't know. I've heard that, but I don't know what to believe. Tyre Phoenicians. Yeah, they took over everything, and they have Hebrewized all of our cultures, like all of our old pagan religions and stuff. They just took them over and said, nope, you're gonna be fucking Christian. But we aren't. That's not our thing. And have you ever heard a description of heaven? It doesn't sound like, it sounds like a prison, and like it will drive you insane because they just play trumpets all day long and sing hallelujah, and it's a bunch of fake happy people, and everybody has to be perfect, just like Pleasantville or the Truman Show. That sounds like a mind castle prison planet if I ever heard one. So I'm not sticking around. Like, I'm not going to heaven. I'm going to Valhalla for my feast, and then I'm gonna head to the Sirius system, which is probably home, and find out what's going on over there. They were socialists and Marxists. Yes, and we all know what those socialist utopias end up being, right? They end up being dystopias. We make movies about this all the time. So heaven is one of those communist utopia ideas. And I think it was a stupid one because nobody wants to be stuck in a prison forever. Really, if you think about it, that's what they're saying. You're going to be stuck in this place. Maybe you're not going to like it. What if you don't like it and you're stuck there forever? I mean, I guess the lake of fire would suck worse, but I think if you believe that you deserve eternal punishment, you're probably going to mind castle yourself eternal punishment. You should really watch the Doctor Who episode called Heaven Sent. He gets stuck in his mind castle for an eternity because time is different on the other side. And he has to figure out his way out of it. And it's not easy. You have to be smart to get out of this mind castle. And that's how you become a time lord, by the way, in that episode. I think that shows you that's how you become a time lord, is you break out of your mind castle. Religion is about guys controlling everyone. Exactly. It totally is. And I'm calling bullshit on a bunch of it. Like the Solomon's pedo temple. That shit, if you read the first 3 or 4 verses of the Testament of Solomon, he tells a story about how his favorite little boy that he gives double rations and double pay to, which is weird, was being molested by one of the demons. Demons, give me a break. Demons don't need food, and demons don't need. So supposedly this demon was taking half of his pay and half of his food. But that's weird because he was already getting double pay and double food. So how many people are molesting this little boy? Anyways, this little boy goes to Solomon because he's Solomon's favorite and says, there's a demon molesting me and taking my pay, half my food, and sucking my blood. And that's why I'm thin. I'm getting like sucking the life out of me. I think these are people, and obviously Solomon's paying these little boys, and he even says in their artisans are working on the temple. They're doing it in the middle of the night because they stole all this gold from Egypt. And then they're going to propagandize it all and say that, oh, demons built the frickin' temple. And oh, yeah, we can blame this little boy molesting on demons too, even though it's obviously people, not demons. There was no fucking demons. That's all a bunch of bullshit. It's ridiculous. Show me a demon on TikTok. There would be demons everywhere on TikTok if people could summon demons. Give me a break. I want to see one. I want to see a demon. Make me a freaking brick. Make me a brick. Prove it. If not, you're worshiping a pedo wall, which probably is why we have a giant pedo problem. Because you're putting your emotion and your belief into that wall, and that wall is powered by pedo magic. You're literally freaking banging your head and making more boy molesting. It's gross. Why is my phone going dark when I'm in the middle of streaming? What the fuck's going on? Why would it do that? Yeah, I'm a monarchist. I'm not a socialist. Put me in charge, heads will roll. I will force all of these doctors to take all of these pills that they're prescribing that they claim are so safe and effective. And somebody's fucking ass is drinking glyphosate for sure. And yes, those heads are going on pikes so you can actually touch them and say, look, oh, that guy's actually dead, not pretending to be in prison like a lot of people. Or I'm going to go to prison in a castle like Hitler. Or Pablo Escobar, who made his own castle. Israel is a giant prison, in my opinion, because I've been locked up. I know what's up.
Jenny, drop the link to the StreamYard in the chat and pin it. So people,
What?
if someone wants the link to StreamYard, put it in the chat and
I
pin.
I did. Should I
Did
do it
you pin
again?
it? Did you
I
pin it?
already.
Is, is it pinned?
No, I did not pin it. More. Let's see. Post comment. Paste. Okay. How do you pin it?
I
There's
don't know.
no. It doesn't say here. Let's do it again. I don't even see it. Do you? I'm on my phone though, so I'm sure that this does not work as well. There's a hide current comment like thing. Hide current comment. What did I just do? That was weird. Hide current comment. Post comment. Did you guys not get that in the chat? Boom. Oh, there it goes. I can only see my name though. Oh, there it goes. Okay, well, there's the stream key if you want to join. There can be 10 people, I think. um, yeah, and then I did a reading of tarot card / Illuminati reading after I read that stuff about Solomon's Temple. And it was freaking brutal. It was great. And the shadow card was just like the perfect icing on the cake. It was fantastic. You know what really pisses me off about this? My phone keeps wanting to go dark every couple seconds. I need to change the settings to not go dark at all or something. I wonder if I can leave and go to the settings in my phone. What do you guys think? Do you think I can do that? And say not to like change the lock screen settings? Probably. Hold on, let's see. Settings. Home page. Advanced. This is weird. There's no. This is not. Oh, this is Google settings. Oh, that's not my phone settings. Can you guys still see me?
I think you got frozen. You
How's
frozen
that?
for a while. Now it's okay. Now you're back.
Okay. Yeah, because I went and changed my settings so that my screen won't stop going dark on me. Hopefully, I changed it to always on, so it should be okay. Elon Musk met with Trump, something the world to take over the world. Oh, God. Elon Musk is, I don't like that guy at all, whatsoever. I don't like Trump either. I think he's a pedophile. I think he's an Epstein. Actually, I know he's in that black book many times. I think his whole family. My friend printed the whole thing out, and I saw his name in there. Actually, he gave it to me too. Oh, see, my screen is going dark. Why? Why would it do that? I don't like the StreamYard thing, which means I'm not paying for it if it's going to do that shit. Zuhur, you don't want to use your camera and try?
No, I don't want to use my camera. I think it's fine.
Okay. Oh, what else do you want to talk about? What's going on over at Scotty Karate? Eagle's Nest. So I'm thinking about moving back to Washington. I hate it here, but housing is ridiculous. See, my phone just went dark. Why does it do that? I have to literally sit here and keep touching my phone so it doesn't do that. Okay, I did the screen timeout for 10 minutes. So it shouldn't time out for 10 minutes. So that means I can lounge. Yes. I do not have to sit here and freaking watch that. And actually, did you freeze? No, I went and changed my screen timeout time 10 minutes because my screen kept going dark on me and it was pissing me off. Danny Simon. Okay, so I can actually, whoops, I can chat with you over here. I can lounge like I'm in Arabian Nights and shit on my fur. It's hella comfortable and soft on my skin. In my red light therapy. Yep, it's the bomb. Okay, and I can chat on here. Yes, I'm back. Shit is gonna buckle. Zio, Don, baby, he's coming back. You think they're gonna put Trump back in? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna put Trump back in. Can you guys hear me from over here?
Yes, we can hear you, but it's a bit low, but I can hear you.
Bit low. Bring the place closer then. I need a microphone. You know what? I do have a microphone. I bought stuff to do streaming with. I actually have a mic and stuff. I should. So, yeah, I think so. They like got everybody on hooked on heroin. They brought in heroin from Vietnam and soldiers' carcasses. Swear to God. Um, and then they basically forced everybody onto their fucking synthetic crap programs. And it was all a big government conspiracy. Like, and then they fucked with the pills too from the doctors. So the CDC recommended cap, which most people cap 90 milligram morphine equivalent, is so ridiculously small compared to heroin or methadone. Let me look it up just to be sure. Morphine equivalency. Opioid conversion calculator. Actually, I don't want a calculator. I just want the equivalent conversion factors. Oh, I download it. Okay. So morphine is a 1 milligram is equal to, where's methadone? 3 milligrams. That's not right. This is not right. And where's heroin at? Or diamorphine, it's called. Fentanyl patch 7.2. Buprenorphine films aren't even on here. Oh, that's from Utah. Opioid conversion calculator. I have like the equivalency. It's so ridiculous. Where's the damn? Just give me the numbers, motherfuckers. Or I actually have it printed out. Calculating conversions. You know what? It's in my drive. It's in my Google Drive. But it's ridiculously small. Okay, so my 50 milligrams of methadone was equal to 250 milligrams of morphine, is what she told me. And I would have to wean down to at least 90, but then I would be at the cap already, and I couldn't go up, and I'd get. The thing is they'll give you as much synthetic dope as you want. You can literally just keep going up on methadone and buprenorphine too. I think they cap you at like 32 milligrams, which is a lot. I mean, that's like the conversion on that is way more than even methadone. It's crazy. Oh. Yeah, I printed out. I did my homework, man, and I was like, this stuff is bad. Pharmacology. Yeah. Oh my God, it's probably gonna take me forever to find. Only search equivalency. Equivalent. Prescribing myth, the impact of pseudoscience of pain research and prescribing. Oh, that's interesting, but that's not what I was looking for. Knitting patterns, that's not supposed to be in this. Oh, this is just a search. Okay. Methadone pharmacology. Well, I found it anyways. So 50 milligrams is equal to 250 of morphine, and 50 milligrams of methadone is nothing. They start you at 30. People go up to about 135. That's what I was on when I was 19, 18 to 19. I wasn't on it very long that time either. Opioid conversion drugs, National Institute of Health. So why won't they let you even out on the natural opiates, but they'll give you as much of the synthetics as you want? It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. They know you're gonna get dope sick. They know. They have to know, obviously. Duh. So then what? You're gonna end up on their, you're gonna go to the streets, or you're gonna end up on their fucking crap. See tables. I just want the table, guys. Give me the fucking table. But anyway, it's ridiculous. And for somebody who's not, I even, I'm telling you, like, you develop a tolerance quick, but it does level out. But they don't give you enough. Really, if you really, really think about it. That's why people use methadone for pain, but then they get all fucking fat, but it's all water. It's gross. It's fucking gross. I've got so much shit on them. There's literally no side effects to heroin. Pretty, like, I knew old junkies who had been, my screen's timing out now. Using dope for fucking decades. And they were fine. Methadone pharmacology. This stuff is so. Where is that one study where from the 70s? It took me a while to find it the other day, but I found it. Oh, yeah, it was called Methadone and Edema. Weight gain and edema on methadone case studies 1970. This is the one. So this is literally from May 1979. How do I screen share? I wonder if I can do that. Is my chat stuff or nobody's talking? Okay. Case number 1. A black man with a 25-year history of heroin use. 25 years of heroin use. Okay. How did Lane Staley die of heroin? Give me a break. Including mainlining only in the arms, received 100 milligrams of methadone, which is 500 morphine equivalency, but they cap you at 90 because that's twice as much as I was on the second time. The first time I was on 135. HCI Dolphin tablets. So he was getting the good shit in a private methadone program. The tablets are better than the liquid. Later, he transferred to the Hope Center where he maintained daily on 110 of liquid. Oh, then they put him on liquid. After 3 months, he noted a progressive 50-pound weight gain and marked swelling of the legs, arms, and face. My eyelids were swollen. It was terrible. He denied any change in eating habits, fluid intake, physical activity, or other drug intake. At this time, he weighed 213 pounds. Examination revealed extensive pitting edema over both lower extremities, including the thighs, with tenseness and puffiness, in quotes, of the skin over the hands and face. He was admitted to the Clinical Research Center at Arizona Health Sciences, where an extensive workup failed to reveal an underlying etiology for the disturbance. Obviously, it was the methadone, you fucking idiots. During his hospitalization, there was no evidence of salt and water retention and complete blood count. Chemical tests of liver function, urinary creatine clearance and urinalysis, plasma levels of electrolytes, total protein and albumin content, and renin and aldosterone, plasma, blah, 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 blah. Echocardiogram, venogram were all in normal limits. So basically everything was normal, right? That's what they tried to tell me. Oh, you're just going from 94 pounds to fat in no time, and that's normal? I was like, I don't fucking think so, bitch. This is edema. Cardiac output revealed normal right atrial pressure, only mildly elevated cardiac output. Large amounts of clear edema fluid were readily obtained by needle puncture of the lower extremities. So they did fucking do something about it and prove it. And the fluid was essentially protein free, as measured, blah, blah, blah. He was started on diuretic drugs. See, they told me, my doctor lied to me. She said that she'd give me diuretics, but I had to get an echocardiogram first. So I weaseled my way at echocardiogram. And did she give me diuretics? No, she didn't. I had to get them from someone else. Can you believe that? Like they're turning me into a criminal. He started on diuretics and initially responded with a 14-pound weight loss, but eventually became refractory even to a combined regimen of Lasix and aldosterone. That's a hell of a lot of diuretics that are hard on your kidneys. Lasix is what I used, intravenous Lasix. But here's the deal, like it stops working. It only takes so much fluid out at once. And here's the thing about edema. If you don't get rid of it immediately, it's permanent. At least lymphedema is. If it's your lymph nodes, which it was mine, like this shit was clogging my lymph nodes too. I've been wearing like this thing, muslin, for like leg waxing. I have leg waxing muslin. So I've been putting it under castor oil poultice under my armpits and wrapping this muslin thing around. But I could go put some leggings on. The edema is gone. Um, and I'm not 94 pounds anymore, probably because I had a progesterone imbalance and got that figured out. So, oh, and I'm not sweating to death every night like I was. Literally sweating to death from the buprenorphine. So neither of those drugs, Suboxone, which is buprenorphine with naloxone in it, um, or methadone are good for you. Period. Like they've got. I have yet to dig into the buprenorphine thing deeply, but I dug into the methadone thing. And this is not the only case like this. It happens to everybody, I swear to God. So So that's why I decided to kick too, because I knew it's not manageable. Yeah, the edema is not, you can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to take diuretics and methadone forever. That's not going to work. You can't do that. You can't, the diuretics are so hard on your kidneys. You can't just keep taking them, I don't think. Following discharge, let's see, he started on diuretics and initially responded with only 14 pounds weight loss, but the dude gained hella more weight than 14 pounds. And eventually became refractory, which means it stopped working, even to a combined regimen of Lasix and aldosterone. Following discharge, he was placed on the diskettes. So if you can get the methadone discs, you're in better shape than if you are taking the liquid, because it's a completely different thing, and they have to buy the liquid to turn this fan on. And gonna work for me, or is it plugged in somewhere else? I'm plugged it into the wrong thing. I'm done plug it for you. Let's turn it the other way. Probably actually turn it off with the cloud. Make sure. But that's probably helpful to hear me. Yeah, the discs are better, I hear. I've never tried them. They're cleaner is what I've heard, but the liquid's really super dirty. 110 milligrams a day. Although he felt better, his weight continued to climb to a high of 240 pounds over the ensuing 6 months. There was no further response to the diuretic drugs. That's what, like I said, I read this study and I said, fuck this shit. And it wasn't just this one person. The methadone dosage was gradually reduced to 40 milligrams a day. During the next 6 months, the dosage was further reduced to 20 milligrams daily. He eventually lost over 60 pounds. Random weekly urine tests were consistently negative for illicit narcotics throughout his course. So it was all the doctor drugs fucking him up. Thank you very much. When last seen, he was free of edema, weighed 190 to 200 pounds, and was intermittently on low doses of methadone. So basically, he's probably still puffy, slightly puffy, and that toxicity is called toxic accumulation, especially if it's accumulating in your lymph nodes. Your lymph nodes are filters that don't unfilter. They're filters. Like you change your car filter, you pull it out and put a new one in. Well, you can't do that with the lymph node. If you fill it up, you're fucked. It's filled up forever. So this shit is terrible. Case 2, a 30-year-old white woman weighing 165 pounds with a 7-year history of heroin, including mainlining, was placed on 100 milligrams a day of liquid methadone. During the next 6 months, she steadily gained weight and see, they watch people nowadays for only 7 days and there's studies. I'm like, what the fuck? You follow them for 7 days and you're like, oh, it's good. We're good. Oh my God, they're so full of shit. Oh, pharma's in for it, man. I'm declaring war on pharma. I have to blow some heat around my apartment because I'm cold. Because I'm always cold, especially now. So I have to. Okay. So she steadily gained weight over a several day period, suddenly noticed a dramatic increase in the size of her legs, coinciding with an increase of methadone dosage to 120 milligrams a day. She was unable to wear her customary array of fitted rings and bracelets, because of upper extremity swelling and complained of facial puffiness. She denied any change of diet, fluid intake, or physical activity, but sporadically continued to use heroin. Random weekly urine tests were positive for opiates. At this time, she weighed 253 pounds. Her legs were grossly edematous with pitting edema up to the thighs. Why would you continue to do this to yourself? Anybody? Why? Obviously you know what the problem is. She was admitted to the Clinical Research Center for some Nazi experiments. Like, they don't know what's going on. Give me a fucking break. Like, why do we need to experiment again on, like, come on, man. So, plasma level, blah, blah, blah. They did all the same tests. Peripheral venous pressure in the upper extremities was mildly elevated. Oh, yeah, when I had edema, it was really easy to draw my blood. My veins were popping out. Popping out. She initially responded to diuretic drugs with a 12-pound weight loss, but that's about what happened to me. But then suddenly became refractory, so it stopped working. That's why you can't let it get out of hand. As soon as you notice the edema, you get off that shit. That was crazy. I closed my eyes to rub my phone, and when I opened them, you weren't on screen. I was fixing to start thinking of wishes. Doctors are legalized drug pushers. Yeah, but the drugs they're pushing are the bad ones. It's hilarious. It's like heroin is the safe, non-toxic drug compared to methadone. It's so backwards. It's so backwards because it's more natural, and it makes you poop too when you smell it, when you cook it. So it's not actually it's constipating at the time, but as soon as you're dope sick in the morning and you're cooking your shit, you smell it. It's like some people that smell coffee and it makes them poop. Heroin does that. Looks like you're a genie in the bottle. Cool. Yeah, I like being in my comfy, cozy nest sort of deal. Okay, so and I freaking groom these damn sheepskins. It's really difficult. I just washed them in the bathtub and did all of that. You have to beat them when you're drying them, but not with heat, no heat, or else they'll get hard. Uh, yeah, and you have to use lanolin. It's crazy. But I did it and it worked. So I just mixed lanolin with baby. I warmed up lanolin and mixed it in baby shampoo, and that's how I washed them. So she switched to methadone discs, 100 milligrams a day, and 4 months later her weight was 252 pounds, so that's pretty still high. When she reappeared in the clinic 9 months later, she weighed only 213 pounds and was able to wear her fitted bracelets and rings. She related she had withdrawn herself from the program 5 months earlier and was once more mainlining heroin regularly. Shortly after this clinic visit, she was brought into the hospital dead on arrival from an overdose. Well, whoops. But point being is everybody goes back to normal when they start mainlining heroin again. I know I'm fixing to fix it, and a lot of dope or alcohol will make me want to shit. Yeah, exactly. When she reappeared, she only weighed 200. Case number 3, 26-year-old white woman with 10-year history of mainlining heroin, who wasn't all edemic, was started on a private methadone program. she got the tablets, 60 milligrams. At that time, she weighed 125. 3 months later, she was transferred to the Hope Center and stabilized on liquid methadone. See, why did they do that? Why did they like give you the disc and then take it away and give you the nasty liquid? 6 months after, it's still nasty either way, but the liquid's way worse. 6 months after entering the program, she complained of marked weight gain, facial puffiness, upper and lower extremity. Complained? Can't you see it with your eyes? It's not just a subjective symptom, it's a sign, because you, as the doctor, can freaking see it yourself. Stop lying. Stop fucking lying. Like, oh, she complained of? No, you can see it, bitch. Her weight was 164. Let's see, wait. She complained, developed facial puffiness, upper lower extremity swelling, developed over the prior 4 months. In only 4 months. Okay. I did 3 months. I was like, fuck this. I stopped taking it suddenly. Like, I just stopped taking it and kicked the shit out of it for a month. It was horrible. Okay. 6 months after entering the program, she complained of marked weight gain, facial puffiness, upper and lower extremity swelling, which had developed over the prior 4 months. She denied any change in her weight was 164 at that point. So that's like 125 is more than my, well, it depends on how much muscle I have. If I have a lot of muscle, 125 is not too bad for me. 164, I would be freaking huge. Physical exam, it doesn't say how tall she is. Physical examination revealed a generally bloated appearance with non-pitted edema of the lower extremities up to the thighs. See, so if you have non-pitting edema, that means your legs are so swollen that you can't. Pitting is when like you like do that and then there's an impression of your fingers stuck there. Well, if your skin is stretched so tight, it's not going to pit. That's what happened to me. And all of the doctors were like, oh no, it has to be pitted edema. It's like, there's such a thing called non-pitted edema. Take care, everyone. Love you too. Cosmic Pie. All right. So, physical examination, bloated appearance, non-pitted edema of the lower extremities up to the thighs. And if you measure the legs, you can, sometimes they're a different size, and that is a bad sign. She was admitted to the research center, failed to reveal any other abnormalities, just like everyone else. There's no reason for it. Oh, it couldn't possibly be the methadone, could it? Right. Although the lower extremities were swollen and turgid, no free fluid could be aspirated for protein analysis. Gross. Following initial weight loss of 14 pounds, she became refractory to diuretic drugs. So you lose about 12 to 14 pounds, and that's it from the diuretics. So if you start getting edema and you get to 14 pounds, you better stop whatever the hell it is you're doing. She was subsequently lost to follow-up. Recent review of her hospital records revealed, however, that she became pregnant 2 months later, left the methadone program 7 months later, returned to regular heroin usage, and gave birth to normal twins at term. So was she on heroin or methadone at the time? 2 months later, left the program so it looks like she was on methadone when she gave birth. Her postpartum weight was 137 and she was edema free. Oh no, must have been on heroin then. She re-entered the methadone program and approximately a year later reappeared in the clinic with complaints of weight gain, 75 pounds. Oh my God, if I gained 75 pounds, that would be like almost double my body weight. That would be crazy. And generalized swelling since discontinuing heroin and restarting high doses of liquid methadone. Her weight has continued to climb to a high of 233 pounds on 75 milligrams of methadone. Holy shit, dude. That's crazy. Um, why would you do that to yourself? I don't care what the fuck. I have the worst neuropathy on the fucking planet, and I will not do that to myself. I will take a bullet to the brain first. Fuck that shit. Um, she had negative drug tests for opiates since she entered the program. 6 other patients complained. It doesn't matter if you do heroin and methadone, you're still going to get fat with water and toxins. God, that's so disgusting. 6 other patients complained to the Hope Center physicians of generalized swelling of the face, abdomen, upper lower extremities within 3 to 6 months after initiating the program. Yep, that's it. 3 months. And it's like, no, this isn't going to work. None of these patients had a prior history of edema on heroin, and no cause for the swelling was uncovered in an outpatient evaluation at Hope Center. Now, do you see why they did the war on heroin? And they went and told everybody heroin causes all these problems when it's really their drugs doing it. It was methadone that killed Mike Starr, not fucking heroin. And Lane Staley, I think, was poisoned with mercury. Farmers say we're going to have a little crop because the earth is saturated and rotting underneath. Well, yeah, they killed oh my God, I'm a gardener. Do not get me started on the soil problem. They killed all the microbes which are responsible for breaking down those nutrients in the soil. A plant's microbiome is its roots. And the only thing big ag is interested in is the shoots, the above ground. But the roots is where all the action's happening. The mycelium and the nematodes and the worms and everything is breaking bacteria. The same bacteria in our stomach, lactobacillus, is also on the plant roots. And when you put chemicals like even chlorinated water onto in that soil, it kills all of that. So you might have, they can GMO you a nice, you know, beautiful red tomato, but it doesn't taste like anything because there's no nutrients in it. That's why your tomato doesn't taste like a tomato, but your grandma's tomato from her garden actually tasted like a tomato because they can't fake the taste. Um, yeah, I'm freaking pissed about the soil problem. And people think it's an easily solvable problem. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It is not easy to make compost and make biochar. Biochar would be great, but it's not, you can't do it on an industrial scale. Like they're trying. There's a channel called Living Web Farms. They do a lot of regenerative agriculture videos. I've seen a lot of them. So anyway, oh, they're just screwing up the entire planet. They're not supposed to be in charge. They were not the bloodline that was supposed to be in charge. They bred into it and fucked it up. The Jews did. Yes, you guys did it. And yes, I'm calling you out. And I don't give a fuck. I'll call anybody out. I don't care what fucking race you are. And I have Jewish friends. And I'm not fucking racist. But I will call your ass out if you deserve it. So there you go. So the discussion now here is edema or tissue swelling represents an imbalance between the amount of tissue fluid or lymph formed and the amount of lymph returned to the bloodstream. So this shit is clogging your lymph nodes. Holy crap. This phenomenon develops either because too much lymph forms high output failure of the lymph circulation, or too little is reabsorbed low output failure of lymph circulation, or because a combination of both factors. And they cited somebody from 1973. These two contrasting pathological states usually can be distinguished by analysis of the Starling forces governing tissue fluid lymph formation, specifically by measurement of venous hydrostatic pressure. So basically how much pressure is in your veins. Reflecting capillary pressure, because the little capillary veins are where your little fat cells and all those things are going to be fed from, that are going to, like I said, a toxin gets stored in your fat cell, and then your fat cell fills with water. That's what edema is. Okay, so tissue protein content reflecting plasma and tissue oncotic pressure. Moreover, the greater the depression in the protein content of edema fluid expressed as an edema fluid / plasma ratio, the greater the likelihood that a high output failure of the lymph circulation exists, i.e., a normal amount of plasma protein leaks out of the capillaries per unit time, but is diluted by a greatly increased amount of protein-free filtrate secondary to elevated capillary hydrostatic pressure or congestion. So basically what that means is that these plasma proteins leak out of the capillaries into your cells and cause congestion and elevated capillary hydrostatic pressure. Why? Because the capillaries are feeding your cells and your cells are getting full, and it's causing a backlog. Okay, so thermal burns and allergic phenomena are also characterized by rapid production of edema fluid, which, however, is higher than normal in protein content. On the other hand, low output failure of the lymph circulation, commonly termed lymphedema, is usually a slow chronic process in which protein-rich edema fluid accumulates in a localized area, seldom generalized. Like, it's usually the left leg. Usually it's somebody's got a giant left leg, one giant leg and one non-giant leg. It often happens with breast cancer because the lymph nodes in one side will get screwed up. Okay, detailed evaluation of 3 patients reported here failed to reveal evidence of cardiac, renal, or liver disease, deranged plasma protein levels, or salt and water retention as reflected in the metabolic balance. See, they don't find anything else wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them except your damn drug. Edema fluid samples readily obtained in 3 patients were protein-free and consistent with the characteristic fluid of an allergic reaction or lymphatic obstruction, both of which typically lead to high protein edema fluid. Maybe because it happens so damn fast. Although no evidence of venous obstruction was found in these patients, the peripheral venous pressures were either normal or minimally elevated. Conditions during hospitalizations may not have reproduced the conditions for weight gain and edema present outside the hospital. So when they leave the hospital, the edema goes away. Is that what he's saying? A recent review of the entity of idiopathic edema. It is so not idiopathic, it's not even funny. Idiopathic means we're idiots and we don't have any idea what's going on. That's what idiopathic means. And 99.9% of all medical problems are idiopathic, by the way, which they're really not. It's really quite simple. It's it's neurotropic infections. So certain viruses get into your brain, and your central nervous system is called the blood-brain barrier. You have clear fluid that encompasses your brain and your spinal cord that your blood doesn't mix with. Well, certain things can cross it, like certain drugs and stuff, but and certain viruses can cross it. And once they do, they don't tend to uncross it because your great immune system that's in your blood is not in your central nervous system. Thus, things like HIV, herpes can't be cured because it's in your brain, dude. Toxoplasmosis, which is a parasite that you get from cats. So owning a cat gives you a 60% more chance of getting schizophrenia. Swear to God, look it up. So all of this mental stuff, all of this mystery inflammation, this idiopathic disease, like they can put a name on a disease. If they tell you you have an itis, like plantar fasciitis, that all of that, I had this conversation with my hairdresser. She said her first doctor told her she had plantar fasciitis. I said, all that means is the plantar part of your foot is inflamed. That's what an itis is. She didn't tell you anything. Bronchitis means your lungs are inflamed. It doesn't tell you why at all whatsoever. And that's what an itis is. Can you guys see it past that live thing, or is that it? There's like this thing that says live there that covers part of my face, and I'm just wondering if that's on the actual screen or not. Actually, you know what? Oh no, it isn't, because I can see the screen right there. Okay, that's good. The Evers are finding strings of synthetic worms in the arteries. You know what else they're finding? Nanoplastics in our blood and our hearts and all of our stuff. We're getting dosed with freaking. Don't drink out of those plastic bottles. That's why I drink out of one of these. And I don't even care that SNL did a skit the other day that they were making fun of these water bottles. But you know what? I'm not drinking nanoplastics like you are, you dumb bitch. All right. So anyway, a recent review of the entity of idiopathic edema, um, which means we're idiots and don't know, or we're just pretending, which is really what they're doing, because this is their cash cow. These neurotropic viruses, and Lyme's is a bacteria. They just pretend that you have none of that. It doesn't exist. It's your gut bacteria driving all this disease. Never mind that viruses totally love the gut. Love it. There is more HIV in rectal fluid than there is in blood and semen. Okay. So Stratine from 1978 emphasizes the complex these fucking men are so egotistically stupid. Pathophysiologically of this related entity, particularly in its dineural postural feature. In the latter patients, posture tests have been necessary to reproduce the excessive orthostatic salt retention associated with changes in capillary diffusion. Why can't you just say that freaking it's pretty obvious? Oh my God. Such provocative tests were not performed in this group of patients, and therefore the dineural and orthostatic circulatory congestion capable of producing such protein-free edema fluid was not explored. Yeah, because it happened so fast that it didn't have time to, like, where did these proteins come from? You know what I mean? It's just, it happens so quickly. It's it's not protein, it's toxin. This isn't natural. This is a chemical, you idiots. The striking edema and weight gain, which occurred in these 3 patients, to our knowledge, has not been described previously as a complication of methadone therapy. Really? I find that extremely hard to believe. Indeed, several authors have recently suggested that if a patient receiving maintenance methadone presents with facial edema, he has probably been taking heroin while on methadone. Bullshit. Bullshit. Oh my God, you fucking liars. These authors further suggest that the syndrome does not occur when either methadone or heroin is used alone. Yeah, right. Suggesting some form of serum sickness, drug sensitivity reaction in a susceptible person. I guarantee you I was not doing fucking heroin, okay? And that this totally happened to me. I even measured my legs and everything when the 2 drugs are combined. So they're trying, oh my God, they're trying to fucking still blame it on heroin. In our patients, however, 2 of the 3 studied in detail were free from heroin use during the development and course of their edema. Furthermore, the low protein content of the edema fluid seems inconsistent with the hypothesis of a hypersensitivity reaction. Heroin alone was not associated with edema in our patients either before entry or after withdrawal from the program. Damn! Heroin alone was not associated with edema in our patients either before entry or after withdrawal from the methadone program. There is no side effects to the heroin. Gee, what do you know? Isn't that something? Further research is needed to document the incidence of this complication of methadone therapy, its relationship to dose, metabolism, specific preparations, and vehicles of methadone, as well as to associated drug abuse. Bullshit on that. Serial weights should be followed in these patients routinely and more closely if there is any subjective complaint or objective finding of facial extremity and abdominal swelling whenever high doses above 70 milligrams a day are used. Pre and post methadone treatment facial photographs should be maintained and compared. If frank edema develops, a variety of other etiologies specifically, they don't give a fuck, by the way. They like, I showed them pictures, told him, I was like, dude, I was 94 pounds and now look at my leg. Like, this is not normal. And he's just like, they're he's so stupid. I want money because I get paid every time you come in here. Oh yeah, I found a article on how methadone clinics get paid. They don't like giving take homes. You're welcome. They don't like giving take homes because they get paid every time you personally walk in the clinic. So they do shit to fuck you over. Like they tried to screw me over for my take homes too. It was crazy. I'm like, you're gonna accuse me of criminal behavior. I haven't been a criminal in 30 years, lady. Like, fuck you. This is all doctor's fault this time. Um, yeah, they don't give a fuck. Specifically renal, cardiac, and hepatic disease should first be excluded if no other cause can be found. Cardiovascular dynamic evaluation, including extensive examination of peripheral microcirculation under a variety of conditions, may be warranted, including extremity plethysmography to determine capillary filtration coefficients and measure. They're not going to do all this shit. Are you kidding me? These tests should more precisely define the reactivity of microcirculation and salt retaining mechanisms. That must be why people keep telling, yeah, I got some Powerade. Like, apparently that's something that you should do. But I also had my paramedic friend give me IV fluids with electrolytes. The test should more precisely define the reactivity of microcirculation and salt retaining mechanisms in these patients to determine whether any abnormalities are detected are specific for methadone are found in differing degrees with other narcotic preparations. Finally, if the swelling persists and is incapacitating, the patient should be tapered or withdrawn from methadone and observed closely to determine the clinical response. No shit, Sherlock. And are they doing that? Absolutely not. No, everybody gets fat on this fucking program and it scrambles your brain so bad. Oh my God, I couldn't think for shit. And it was only 3 months and I was already like, fuck, man. I met some people on methadone. Their brains were totally scrambled. Oh my God. Oh my, yeah. This stuff is nasty. And they just came out with a new one too. Um, I had this article. I don't know where it is now. I don't think I saved it, but they said that only 1% of people actually abused their prescriptions. It was all a big lie. So there's that, the pill thing. They were giving out pills and accusing us of abusing them when that wasn't even true. It was like less than 1%. There's always going to be some Bob down the street who's going to fuck it up for everybody. We're not ever going to live in some utopia where every single person is perfect. So why are we fucking everyone else over to save Bob down the street? Why don't we just let Bob down the street take himself out the gene pool? Why are we taking out like the good people like me? Why are we sacrificing me to save some fucking idiot? Like, let Bob take himself out. If he's going to be a dumbass, let him be a dumbass. You know, there's always going to be some fucking dumbass doing some dumbass shit. Yeah, I'm just pissed off. That stuff is gross. Heroin versus methadone. When was this one? 2000? Methadone is a synthetic, it's a Nazi drug, by the way. The Nazis are the ones that developed it for the battlefield. If you had nothing else and you needed to cut some guy's leg off, sure, but it shouldn't be a maintenance drug. And it was unfinished. Methadone is a synthetic opiate primarily used in the detox and maintenance of patients who are dependent on opiates, particularly heroin, and the treatments of patients with severe chronic pain. Synthetic long-acting opioid. No, it isn't. They lie. It lasts 8 hours like every other drug does. You know why? Because they give babies and pregnant women, they dose them every 8 hours because the baby goes into distress if you don't. Uh, so them telling you it lasts a day and a half, they're so full of shit. Nothing lasts a day and a half. Similar to morphine, is active by oral and perinatal routes of administration. That's fucking horrible. Why can't we just dose heroin out of the methadone window? Why don't you just give them morphine pills or something? I'm sure they'd be perfectly happy with that. As long as you let them dose it how you're dosing the methadone, just keep going up until you're where you need to be. But that's not how they treat natural opiates. Not at all. They'll give you as much of this shit as you want, though. A dose of 5 milligrams of heroin is approximately equivalent to 20 milligrams of methadone. Because the purity of street heroin varies considerably, however, empiric methadone dosing is recommended instead of equivalent dosing based on recent heroin use. That means that you just keep going up until you're ready. You're like good. The dosage of methadone maintenance remains controversial. It's usually started at 10 to 20. They started me at 30 and increased in 10 milligram increments until withdrawals are controlled. Most patients can maintain at 40 milligrams to control withdrawal symptoms but not eliminate drug cravings. You know what they did though? They changed the formula of the liquid just like they did buprenorphine so that you don't get high off of it anymore. But that also takes away the pain part, the pain relieving part. So the liquid is not the same as the discs or pills that you get from the doctor. And people don't realize that. And they keep just going up and up and up and up and up. I don't know when they did that, but you used to get hella high from the methadone liquid. People would be nodding off all over the fucking place. Not anymore. It's, I don't know. It just doesn't seem. I read somewhere in one of these studies that they changed the formulation. Evidence supports the need to administer higher doses of methadone for effectiveness. So why are they not doing that with morphine? Why? It's bullshit. In the past, it was common to administer the lowest dose possible to curb opiate withdrawal symptoms. However, because a major concern is the high risk of HIV conversion among persons using the intravenous drug population, people would be perfectly high, perfectly fine if you gave them some fucking morphine pills and gave them enough of them. They would be perfectly happy. I promise. Patients given methadone doses of 80 to 100 milligrams versus 40 to 50 had a much higher incidence of surreptitious illicit heroin use during maintenance therapy. In a retrospective study, associates determined that patients receiving 40 milligrams a day were 2.2 more likely to use heroin than those receiving 80 milligrams. Detox. The higher recidivism rate of people after completing detox. The recidivism rate may be attributed to the physiological state of abstinence syndrome that persists. How about all of the fucking fatness and people want to be skinny again? Like you made them all fat, and then you're like, oh, you don't, you can't go get heroin chic again. You have to stay edema and fat, and we're just gonna pretend like we didn't do it and it's not our fault. Why don't you just dose their heroin to them? Pain. Methadone is a good therapeutic alternative to morphine sulfate. No, it isn't. It's not. It's a terrible alternative to morphine sulfate. I just proved that. And other opiate analgesics in the treatment of severe chronic pain. No, it is not. It is well absorbed orally, has analgesic effects, blah, blah, blah. And it's fucking toxic as fuck. And no, it isn't. No. Morphine and methadone are equivalent analgesic agents. Sure, if you're cutting somebody's leg off in a ward, fine. It is not a maintenance drug. I don't care what you say. Parenteral methadone is, what does that word mean? Does that mean like, did I not bring it up? I'm guessing that means methadone is twice as potent as oral methadone. What does that word mean? It's parental, but what? Administered or occurring elsewhere in the body than the mouth and the alimentary canal. Okay. So, like injecting it or doing a lozenge like I do with my progesterone or transdermal. Caution should be taken not to increase the dose too high or too frequently when initiating therapy because toxic effects may ensue. Oh, really now? Adjunctive analgesics should be considered during the first few days of the initiation of the regimen. Yeah, you're itching your ass off. It's horrible. Oh my God, it was horrible. Use in pregnancy crosses with placenta and can cause fetal dependence, of course. Um, does it say that you have to dose them every 8 hours? Opiates, last line. I'm surprised it doesn't. Higher doses may be required, especially in the third trimester. Dosage should be tailored to the individual. I read in one of them that you're supposed to dose these people every 8 hours because the fetus starts going into distress. Can you guys see me when my phone goes dark? Hi, Abraham. I want to marry you. That's funny. I need some water. My mouth is dry. I need some candy. I have some candy, really. I'm a chocolate addict. Really addicted. I like the chocolate caramels and gummy bears. These like natural Black Forest gummy bears are really good. And I get these like caramel chocolate things. They're really tasty. I don't eat a lot, but I eat chocolate. You've been following me a long time. Where are you at? Wow. Overdose and adverse reactions. Because of accumulation of the drug, it may be difficult to increase the dose in patients who are not tolerant to it. In addition, methadone has a prolonged interval of toxicity that may occur, that does occur, extend to several hours or days, and is therefore important to observe patients for 48 hours after a methadone overdose. Another important risk factor includes extremes of age, infants, and elderly patients. Yeah, I'm sure it's a 10 milligram tablet killed a child. 30 milligrams administered intravenously caused respiratory depression for several days in an 81-year-old. The most severe consequential effect from methadone is the potential for apnea. Why? Because it makes you so fat you can't breathe. Respiratory failure, hypoxia leading to coma, seizures, hypotension, and death. This effect may account for the death in patients that occurred when methadone was initiated at high doses in the methadone maintenance programs. Holy crap. See, I knew Mike Starr died from methadone, man. I saw that shit happen. He wasn't doing heroin. And he tried to get off the methadone with me, actually. It didn't work for him. I survived it. I did it twice now. Okay. Other deaths attributed to the use of multiple drugs and substances, for example, alcohol with methadone. Yeah, you shouldn't probably drink alcohol with methadone. Naloxone, the antagonist, can reverse methadone's effects in patients with overdose. Oh my God, somebody shot me with naloxone one time. I just fell asleep because I have narcolepsy. When I was sitting at like the airport, and next thing I know, I'm wide awake, and I'm like, "What the fuck? You were sleeping?" I'm like, I fucking was just asleep. You gotta shake me like all the time. I have narcolepsy, dude. I was fucking pissed. Because it makes you instantly dope sick too. And then what? Are they gonna give you some heroin to make you better again? No. I think I was actually on methadone when they did that to me. I can't even fucking remember. It sucks so bad. Anyway, that shit's listed as an allergy. Non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema has resulted from therapeutic doses, and there's literally 36 citations. Other adverse effects associated with long-term administration have included increased swelling, constipation, appetite disturbances, sexual dysfunction, abnormal menses, urination retention, rash, blurred vision, sedation, irritability, insomnia, biliary pain, hypoventilation, generalized edema, gynecomastia, galateria, I have no idea what that means, in men or women, hepatotoxicity, that's liver, and gastrointestinal symptoms. I had a lot of that shit, but some of it I don't know what that means. Although these effects are usually transient, not life-threatening, they may foster non-adherence or intolerance to long-term use of methadone. So why are they forcing us all onto methadone or buprenorphine? That shit's not any better. They like overcorrected for the edema problem and make you sweat instead. Possible email so we can communicate. Good morning. I don't know if I don't have an email to give out for random people. I can put my Twitter. Okay. That's my Twitter. You can send me a DM there. And you can see all my Oracle shit. Like my Hitler pictures and my Hamas fashion show costume fucking party investigation. Oh, looking hysterical. Best dressed terrorist and ever. Yeah, it helps with pain, but is the treatment worse than you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, it helps with pain, but it makes you gain 300 pounds of edema. How is that helping with pain? Actually, that's pretty painful. So this is their conclusion after all that. Methadone is a long-acting opiate used in the treatment of opiate dependence and detoxification and for patients having chronic severe pain. There is increasing evidence that long-term methadone use in patients who are dependent on opiates has substantial societal benefits, including diminishing illicit opiate use. Why? Since illicit opiate use doesn't have all these side effects. Reducing the number of transmission of HIV and hepatitis. No, that was the fucking needle exchange program. Thank you very much. And decreasing criminal activity and healthcare costs in the population. A number of obstacles to methadone treatment exist. These include restrictive governmental regulations, the stigma of opiate addiction, the lack of healthcare practitioner and clinics sanctioned by the FDA that are capable of providing therapy to all patients who benefit. No mention whatsoever in the conclusions of all of the horrible edema and side effects, and the fact that heroin doesn't cause any of them, and people repeatedly, like, no mention of that in the conclusions, because a lot of times people will read just the conclusion of a paper, or like they'll read the abstract and the conclusion, so their whole conclusion will be, oh, this is all great. That's the conclusion. Like, what the you people are tripping. Medical is the most corrupt out of all of it. Like, it's hella weird. Yeah, apparently they're letting me follow people again. They didn't let me follow people for like 2 years. That said that you've reached your limit of people you can follow. Um, but lately, last couple days, I've been able to follow people. Um, See, they can even give you oral heroin. Oral heroin in opiate-dependent patients, pharmacokinetic comparison of immediate and extended release tablets. This is from 2009. So why don't they just give us its diacetylmorphine prescription? Why don't they just give us that out of the window? It has none of the side effects. Oh, gee, because it's not a chemical and doesn't make Big Pharma a bunch of money. That's why. But they can give you pharmaceutical grade heroin and you can live on it for the rest of your life and be perfectly fine. It's called diacetylmorphine for heavily dependent addicts. Diacetylmorphine is usually administered intravenously, but this may not be possible due to venous sclerosis, so you fuck your veins up, or when heroin abuse had occurred via non-venous routes. Since up to 25% of patients administer it orally, we characterize morphine absorption after single doses of immediate extended release diacetylmorphine in 8 opioid addicts. Plasma concentrations were determined by liquid chromatography, mass spectrometry. Let's get through this boring shit. Immediate release caused rapid morphine absorption peaking 10 to 15 minutes. Morphine absorption was considerably slower and more sustained for extended release, with only 30% maximal immediate release absorption being reached after 10 minutes and maintained for 3 to 4 hours with no relevant food interaction. The extended to immediate release bioavailability. See, this shit's bioavailable, unlike your nasty chemicals. Bioavailability was calculated at 86% by non-compartmental analysis and 93% by deconvulsion analysis. Thus, immediately and extended release diacetylmorphine produced the intended morphine exposures. Both are suitable for substitution treatment. See, I should take this to my doctor and be like, you need to give me this stuff. Similar doses can be applied if used in combination or sequentially. Keywords. Diacetylmorphine oral administration bioavailability is in the keywords. Isn't that interesting? Absorption rates, food, and deconvolution. Introduction. This is 19 pages long. Opioid misuse and addiction embody a grave public health issue. The only reason it's an issue is because you criminalized it. That's why it's an issue. If you were handing it out like you are methadone, it wouldn't be an issue, would it? Treatment in most countries is primarily based on methadone and buprenorphine maintenance programs. However, treatment response is often incomplete and may heavily dependent narcotic addicts cannot be included or retained in these programs. See, nobody wants these nasty fucking programs. Nobody stays on them. It doesn't work. It's unless you want to be some gross fat cow for the rest of your life. Short life, because the shit's gonna kill you. It almost killed me. However, treatment response is often incomplete and may heavily dependent narcotic addicts cannot be included or retained in these programs. Therefore, Switzerland and several other countries now include diacetylmorphine as an additional option for heavily dependent addicts. Well, isn't that interesting? I'm moving to Switzerland. Based on the three most relevant clinical studies in Switzerland, the Netherlands, and Germany, heroin-assisted treatment is superior to other opioid-assisted treatments such as methadone. Bam, bitches! In particular, this treatment targets previously untreated intravenous drug users or non-responders to conventional methadone treatments. That would be me, who subsequently show improvements in health status, often dramatically less treatment dropout, reduced consumption of other psychotropic substances, and other social I know this is probably super boring for you guys, but this is really actually important because God forbid any of you guys get sick or have pain and actually need help because you're fucked. Drugs are bad, okay? Yeah, right, until you need them. Yeah. What's bad is the criminalization. Treatment based solely on injected heroin as a substitution medication can be problematic. While effective, it requires considerable resources as patients usually inject 3 times a day under supervised conditions at treatment centers, which requires long operating hours and puts high demand on personnel and security. Moreover, not all patients fulfill just give them a pill. They don't need to shoot it up. Many countries, a considerable fraction of opioid dependents do not inject. In the Netherlands, most users, 75 to 90%, inhale heroin by chasing the dragon. Yeah, why don't we just bring back the opium dens? That would be great. Also, in other countries, many users do not inject opioids for various reasons, including fear of infection risk or inability to puncture their veins. Moreover, an increasing number of patients uh, participating in heroin assisted programs suffer from venous sclerosis, preventing them from performing intravenous administration. These situations required other means of administering heroin as a substitute medication. Oral substitution with diacetylmorphine has been used in Switzerland for a decade. Frick et al. Demonstrated that the 1 year retention rate for solely orally substituted subjects within the Swiss heroin assisted treatment program was 80%, which was above the 70% obtained from historical controls treated intravenously with diacetylmorphine. So the oral people actually did better. In 2006, 1/3 of all diacetylmorphine used in the Swiss heroin prescription program was given as tablets. See? Furthermore, up to 25% of patients in this program receive diacetylmorphine doses orally. Yeah, because we want to have veins left. Like that was one reason why I was like, this isn't gonna last forever. I can't do this forever. I'm not gonna have any veins. What happens when I need that shit later? It's often straightforward to characterize the absorption of oral immediate release preparations by plus it's gross and I hate needles, believe it or not. Absorption of oral immediately release preparations by model independent estimation of bioavailability, maximal concentrations, and time of maximal concentration. Alternatively, compartmental analysis may be used under the assumption of zero or first order absorption. For the extended release preparations, analysis requires parameters describing the extent of fluctuations in plasma concentrations. So actually paying attention to how much you're giving the person and if it's enough, instead of just giving you some stupid tiny amount and never raising the dose. Like, it's such bullshit in this country. Ignorance of the appropriate in vivo extended release absorption function often requires the use of deconvolution techniques. This approach provides not only parameter estimates characterizing the plasma level fluctuations, but also yields the entire drug absorption rate profile over time, allowing comparisons of in vivo absorption rate with in vitro dissolution profiles. So they want to compare how much you're absorbing in your body versus how much it's dissolving in their petri dish. We have shown previously that even large doses of oral immediately released diacetylmorphine yield only negligible systemic diacetylmorphine and monoacylmorphine exposure, but result in an unexpectedly high morphine bioavailability of 67%. So bioavailability, dude, that's not something you see with those chemicals. Since many patients use extended release diacetylmorphine in addition to or instead of the immediately release form, often switching between formulations, we now characterize and compare morphine absorption of the two formulations in 8 opioid addicted patients. For the extended release formation, the study also explores the influence of a high fat breakfast on morphine absorption. So basically, heroin is good for you, and fucking methadone is terrible for you. Isn't that hilarious? It's so funny. I just want to die. I'm gonna post this all over the fucking around the methadone clinic. I'm gonna print this out. I'm gonna laminate it so the rain can't get it. I'm gonna staple it so many times it'll be a bitch to get off. With train tracks there, I should spray paint them. They used a coated tablet of 200 milligrams. 80% of the dose is released within 15 minutes. They had a diacetylmorphine dose of at least 300 milligrams. Parental dose equivalent was recruited from the Swiss heroin prescription programs. See, they're totally not giving you enough morphine. 90 milligram cap? I don't think so. That's not nearly enough. You're going to turn people onto the street. Only 2 people were positive for cannabis. Everybody else was negative for everything, even benzos. Volunteers have been opiate dependent for 3 to 20 years. You can be on heroin for 20 years and be fine. I think this is, the last study was like, wasn't it like 30 years or more, 40 years or something? Some dude was on heroin. Can you stay on methadone for 20 years? I don't think so. The mean daily perinatal diacetylmorphine dose equivalent amounted to 471 milligrams per day, 300 to 807 milligrams per day. There's way more than they give you in the US. To ensure they would not be oversedated or develop withdrawal, immediate release doses amount to 1.5 times the individual parental diamorphine dose equivalent. Corresponding study sessions were limited to 7 hours. To extend the study sessions to 11 hours after administration of the extended release preparation, we increased doses in this case to 2 times the dose equivalent. Why? They put a catheter in them. They had them fast overnight, no food or water after 11. They arrived at 7, stayed for 3 days. A catheter was placed in the radial artery for blood sampling and in a vein of the other forearm for the morphine administration. On the morning of the first day, immediately released morphine was administered orally with 100 to 200 milliliters of water. In addition, 15 milligrams of morphine D3 dissolved in 30 milligrams NaCl was infused intravenously. After 5 minutes, starting immediately after the oral dose, arterial blood samples were collected prior and at 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, blah, blah, blah. 340, 420 minutes after the oral dose. See, they like really got this shit down to science. They had a standardized high fat content breakfast. So apparently, high fat content breakfast is helpful. Therefore, or on an empty stomach, as on the first study day, the extended release dose was administered with 100 to 200 milliliters of water. 4 subjects fasted on the second day and 4 were fed. The patients switched groups on the third day. Arterial blood was collected at different intervals. standardized blood samples corrected directly into vials, blah, blah, blah. After the first hour, the volunteers were free to smoke cigarettes. During the period of the last blood sample, the volunteers received additional intravenous or immediate release diamorphine on average 280 milligrams day 1, 230 on day 2 or 3, or the dose equivalent to maintain constant dosing. Dosing concentrations. So what is the result? Adverse effects. All study doses were well tolerated. Only one adverse effect was observed in which one volunteer requested 1 dose of paracetamol for a headache during the second night. Diacetylmorphine dosing was considered adequate on all study days. Wow. So heroin's awesome. Intravenous morphine. Exhibited a clearance of, well, I don't understand all this math. Oral immediately release. Sample period, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so pretty much the heroin's the shit. They totally lied. It's like completely and utterly backwards. It's crazy. This is what Big Pharma is doing. Like, they know, obviously. This is a very detailed study here. I need to refill that. Discussion. The study compared the morphine absorption characteristics of orally administered immediate and extended release required by opioids. Full preparation, bioavailability in the range of 56 to 61%. The immediately released preparation resulted in rapid absorption, with peaking at 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, like it's literally there's like no side effects. It's so hilarious, dude. In conclusion, orally administered immediately and extended release diacetylmorphine, also known as heroin, both exhibit a high absolute morphine bioavailability of 56 to 61% in the dose range required by opiate addicts. The immediate release preparation produces rapid morphine absorption, whereas absorption rates are considerably lower and more sustained for the extended release formulation, with 90% of morphine absorption reached only after 8.5 hours, which would allow for extending dosing intervals. Morphine absorption was not significantly affected by a high-fat breakfast. The relative bioavailability of the two preparations was 86% non-compartmental analysis or 93% deconvolution analysis, indicating they can be substituted for each other with a 1-to-1 ratio. The absorption characteristics could improve outcomes in patients switching from other opioids or for well-integrated patients under chronic treatment to enhance employability. Well, gee, yeah, if you get us out of pain, maybe we can work more. Well, what a freaking revelation. And that's it. Wow, so heroin's good for you and methadone sucks. That was fucking hilarious. Hilarious, hilarious. Detox bunker is most effective. Yeah, I know. Drugs are bad, okay. Yeah, the wrong drugs are bad. The wrong drugs are bad. The toxic, chemical, non-bioavailable ones. And the plant ones are good for you, like the poppies that big pharma wants you to not like because they can't patent it and make money off of it. That's why. That's funny. I didn't think this would turn into a heroin is good for you stream. But I guess we went there. Yeah, they sure went on a huge propaganda campaign about heroin's so bad for you. Our chemicals are so good for you. You'll be a normal, functional person. You'll just be 500 pounds and so anemic you can't walk around. And your brain will be scrambled because that shit scrambles your brain so fucking bad. Oh my god. I would like forget I was doing the dishes. I'd go do something else and then I'd like sit on the couch and I'd be like, wait a minute. I was like right in the middle of doing the dishes. That would happen all the time and that never happened before. I knew some people that scrambled their brains. I don't know. It's just gross. I'm really disappointed in our medical industry right now. Like, really disappointed. I think I'm going to take that study to my doctor. Here, this is what I need right here. Give it to me. I'm sure she'll love that study. That's gonna be fun. I'm going to put that one all over by the methadone clinic and the Alcoholics Anonymous. I'll go find out where all those are. Print a bunch of these out. Maybe write like, this means heroin is good for you. There's no side effects. This means that methadone's terrible for you. Now, who benefits out of this? Who benefits out of this? Definitely not us. We're not the ones benefiting from this. I know I have a microphone somewhere. I could probably go look for it. No, you know what? This phone does not have a headphone jack. It's bullshit. It's got the Bluetooth only thing. And then when I put my Bluetooth headphones in, usually you can't hear me as good. But I can do that. I can try it. You're charged. Let's see. How about now? Can you hear better? See, it doesn't even tell you what time this happened at, like this comment. It's weird. Like YouTube. I like that. Can you guys hear me at all? Probably. Now it's better? Okay, so having headphones on is better. It's late. It's like time doesn't mean much to me, but I was kind of sleepy. Actually, I feel really good right now, so I should probably stay awake and do something. And do something. Somebody come on and talk to me. Or something. What do you want to talk about? Hope all is well. No, it is not. I hate this town. I'm going to war with pharma. These headphones fall. Yes, pharma is in trouble. Those fucking liars. This whole thing was a setup. The pills and all that. Like, they know that they're not giving you enough pills and that you're going to end up on the street or in their fucking methadone clinic. Can you put the StreamYard link? Okay. Post comment. Paste. Come on, you can do it. Was there... Hold on a second. I gotta share the link. It doesn't remember.